What's up, everyone? It is your girl GELBEAUTY87 here, aka Grace Honey, and today we're gonna get into some of my picks for Valentine's Day palettes. So I'm just going through my collection, showing you some of the palettes that I would consider using during Valentine's Day, because for once I don't have a tutorial for Valentine's Day. Like, it just snuck up on me. I feel like this year is just like flying by me, and I'm like, what's happening? What happened? Where did it go? Because I'm like, I feel like we almost in like March already, and I feel like the year just started like 20 minutes ago. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, let's get into these palettes. So I got a couple of them that I feel like would be more like for the smoky, grungy girls. And I got one unique palette. It's one I recreated. That is a Valentine's Day palette, so I wanted to include it in here. And the rest of them are more like traditional, like smoky pinks and like berry tone colors that I feel like you all would be more interested in. So let's get into it, girl, because y'all know I'll sit here and talk for a good long while. So I have the Pat McGrath Levian Rose palette. I know this one's a little bit old, but I figure some people might still have it in their collection. And hopefully your purple didn't dry out, because I know some of you all told me your purple dried out. Mine is still fine, thank goodness, but this is what she looks like on the inside. To me, this gives some Valentine's Day like vibes, if you will, because it has a nice what do you call it, pinks and more berryish tone shades. And I felt like the royal purple would just be a unique pop to it, if you will, but I feel like it's still giving Valentine's Day vibes, because I feel like you could have a nice grungy or a smoky Valentine's Day eye by putting this and some of these tones together, and then you get the traditional pinks and golds for both inner corners. So that's why I went ahead and picked this palette, because I was like, to me it gives somewhat traditional vibes to Pat McGrath traditional palette, if you will, or traditional Valentine's Day palette, without, you know, trying to go out and buy anything. Because my goal was just get this up so you all don't necessarily feel like you have to go out and buy anything Valentine's Day palettes. You can have some ideas. So that's why I'm putting older Valentine's Day palettes in here as well, like the Chucky X Glam Light, or Bride of Chucky X Glam Light. Is that what it's called? No, Crazy in Love Chucky X Glam Light, I believe is what it's called. But I didn't buy it when it came out, but this is what it looks like on the inside. I feel like this would be perfect for Valentine's Day, and I see why they chose it for Valentine's Day now, because it gives you Valentine's Day and then it gives you like anti-Valentine's Day for people who are into that sort of thing. So I'm like, I feel like this is more the Valentine's Day side, the red tones, and the anti-Valentine's Day would be like this side right here, the grungy, deep purple, like smoky eye, if you will. So I thought this would be a good pick for that. Plus, you know, like she's cute, you know, she's real cute, and she's more for the people who like the more vampy, smoky eye like I do from time to time. So I thought that would be good to go in here instead of just having a whole bunch of like pretty pinks and stuff like that, which I have those too. Like, next I have my ColourPop Flirty Talk. If you all remember, I recreated mine, so mine is definitely giving more of non-traditional palette look, if you will. I feel like this gives more of the look of Manny's Strawberry Dream palette without the gold that he threw in there, because it has the pinks, it has the purples, it has those reddish tone shades. And I wasn't necessarily thinking about him when I made that. I just thought it would be a cool color story, so that's how I recreated mine. So this would definitely be one I would be interested in using. I might use it on Valentine's Day. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I feel like I'm gonna have to be rushing out the house when it comes to Valentine's Day, because I work and I have to go through downtown Chicago, and it's gonna be quite busy that day. But I really like this palette. This is one of my favorite ColourPop palettes for Valentine's Day. I still haven't ordered their Valentine's Day palette. I've been meaning to do it, and I feel like so much stuff has come up, and I've been doing so much other stuff, so like I didn't even worry about it. I plan on getting it though. It's just you won't get most likely get a review on it, because I figure you won't care after Valentine's Day comes, and that's in like 2 days. That it's not gonna get to me in 2 days. But yeah. Next I have the Sweet Pinks from Juvia's Place. And this is what she looks like on the inside. I think this is a nice, cute little palette for people who really love pinks but don't use them that often. So when you're bold enough to use the pinks, you can just go ahead and grab this palette and go for it. So I'm definitely, you know, excited to have this palette in my collection. And I do think it's a cute little palette for you to grab. I think they had 25% off while I'm filming this for the Super Bowl. So it'd be a cute one for you to go ahead and pick up. And sometimes I know they have these 6 pans for like $6, so you can always get a deal on Juvia's Place. That's why I always try to recommend some brands, because they have really good deals going on. And I feel like this is just a cute, simple pink palette you can pull out if you're in a rush. Like, put this on your outer V, put this in the crease, and put one of these fun shimmery pink shades on the lid, and you got a cute little Valentine's Day look. So next I have the Bridgerton Belle of the Ball palette. And I feel like this one was a little wild card, if you will, because it has this gold and this mint. But I feel like if you cover it up, you see there's quite a few Valentine's Day colors in here, and those are just the fun pops of color Mother added in here to get you to, you know, look at it as unique and different. When really it's just, you know, like another palette that's similar to something she already has, and she just added a couple of other shades. That's just my personal opinion, but you know, to each his own. So I really like it, and I would use it as a somewhat unique color, because it's like you can use this on the outer V, you can put one of these shades in your inner corner, and then you can put this one on the lid, because I feel like that would be a fun, unique take on a Valentine's Day look, because I feel like a lot of people aren't going to do gold, but you can still have a little bit of the red in there. So if you don't feel like comfortable just wearing like all bright reds and stuff, you can add that little pop of gold in and not feel like you're overwhelmed by color. Next, I have the Pat McGrath Rose Decadence. I figured I'd just get both the Pat McGraths out the way. Again, this is another one. This one I feel like definitely gives more Valentine's, if you will, than the last one I just showed. But I feel like they give somewhat similar vibes, minus the mint green, if you will. Now I gotta pick it up and show and investigate. Let's see. Yeah, you see what I mean? Like, I feel like if you covered up this little part right here, you're giving a lot of the same similar tones on this one as well. Did we just find a 5 brands of, yeah, 5 brands of dupe themselves situation? Because a lot of these tones are looking similar to a lot of the tones in here. Yep, I think we did. But anyway, back to what I was saying about this palette. I feel like this one is like a more muted version of the one that ColourPop came out with this year for Valentine's Day. Because I feel like it has a lot of those tones that are just muted down, like this more coppery shade is. They have like a brighter orange shade similar to it, and then there's this deeper, I guess, berryish tone shade that I feel like they have a brighter version of. So I feel like for people who like a more muted version of the ColourPop Color Story, you might like this, or you might, if you already have the same collection, it might be something you want to pull out for Valentine's Day, because it is a little bit of color, but it's like, you know, muted color, because y'all know Mother doesn't do a lot of fun color a lot of the time, or if she does, it'll be like one pop and then everything else is just, you know, there. So I feel like that would be interesting to shoot. So the next one, of course, I had to bring out my Major Dimension 2 palette from Patrick Ta. I love this palette. The only thing I'll say about this one is if you're looking for more berryish tone colors, don't look at this one, because it looks like it's going to give more mauve-ish rose tone colors, but these just end up running really red. So if you're fine with having like a nice warm tone color story that runs really red, then I think you would definitely like this palette. However, I don't necessarily go for that vibe all the time, but when I do it, this is definitely one palette I think of to reach for, because like the shimmers in here are absolutely stunning. It's just a little bummer to me that it runs a little red sometimes, but that doesn't make me love it any less. It's just something I wanted to make note of for the people who might be looking at this video as possibly like, you know, purchases for Valentine's Day. Like, just make sure you realize it's gonna run like more of that like burgundy-ish, like warm tone red than actually you know, more rose tones like it looks in the pan. Next, I have the Surrender palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. This was their Valentine's Day palette 2023, I want to say. They had the mystery box and I ended up getting it. I feel like it's just their version of the Love palette from Natasha Denona, which I actually forgot to bring, which is one that I definitely would have put in this video. But, you know, I had this one, so I guess I feel like that one was enough, because you have this little neutral quad right here. You have this fun reddish berry tone quad right here, and then you have this more softer pink quad right here. I usually just go across the board and pick whatever I want to make eye looks with, but if you need like help with coming up with an eye look quick, like look at that as a quad, look at that as a quad, and then look at this as a quad, and that gives you a simple out the door eye look. So if you want a soft look, you want a vampy look, or you want an everyday look, this palette has all three of them in it. So just something to keep in mind for the people who have this. You might want to bust it out for Valentine's Day, so you can do a cute day to night look. Because I feel like if you just pop the red on the lower lash line and do a warm brown look in the daytime when you go to work, that could still be a nice little, you know, transition from day to night look. So just a thought. Next, I have the Amrezy X ABH palette. Now I know this one's kind of old, but like I just love the shade Cupcake in here. I know everybody was crazy about the shade Bar, but I feel like that'd be a nice, again, Valentine's Day look, because it's like you can do some neutral browns in here, and then you can put that shade Barb on the lid and it'd be a nice sparkly Valentine's Day like pink situation for the girls who love pink so much. So I feel like this would just be a good one for you to reach out and use. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned it as well. I remember I had a friend who really loved that palette, and it was on sale Sephora for like 25 bucks, and I think they gave you extra 20%, and she rushed to grab, and she was so glad she did, because like she was gonna wait till we got paid, and then like the day after she bought it, like it just disappeared. We didn't have any, they didn't have it anymore because they were getting rid of it. Next I have the Berries and Cream palette from Adept Cosmetics. Y'all know I love this palette. This is one of my favorite palettes, and I feel like this is perfect for Valentine's Day because it has some nice, you know, gorgeous tones to it. You got a nice black, you got a cute little blue moment. Not that necessarily blue is traditional for Valentine's Day. I feel like berry tones though, or another Valentine's Day look, if you want to do like a smoky Valentine's Day look, I feel like berry tone palettes are good for that. So that's why I wanted to make sure I mentioned this palette. So I had to show her. I think she's a stunner. I don't know what's going on over there at Adept Cosmetics, but I am patiently waiting for her to come up with some more fun products. Like I'm hoping she expands on her lipstick collection. I feel like that'll be fun. And then I hope she does some other stuff too. Like I want to see her do I'd like to see her do a foundation eventually, but I don't know what kind of foundation she do, because if I remember correctly, I think she has dry skin. So I'm wondering if she just jump on the hydration train like everybody is right now and come up with a hydrating foundation, but we'll have to wait and see. But next I have the Beauty Bay Berries palette. This is what she looks like on the inside. It gives you basically, to me this is definitely a traditional Valentine's Day-ish type palette, because you got like the deeper berry tones at the bottom, and then you got the nice pinkish reddish tones toward the top. So if you're into more of those traditional colors that people consider for Valentine's Day, I definitely feel like you would like this palette best. And Beauty Bay always has palettes on sale. Like I think they sent me an email with this palette was on sale for like $10 last week or something. So their palettes are very reasonably priced, and they always have different sizes. So depending on how many shades you want in the palette, that could work out for you. Like this one is 16. They have some that are 20. They have some that are like 32. They have big ones. They have small ones. They have all different types. So it's definitely a brand that you can look into. So the last one I have is the new Romantic palette. So the palette just showed you the berries one. It has shades from there inside this one. So if you didn't get your hands on this limited edition Valentine's Day palette, you could buy the berries one. It has some of the same tones in there. You'd have to watch my video on those 3 palettes. I made a video on it, and I showed you the shades that were in here from the older palettes, because they came out with, I think it was a green one they came out with. I think it's called Earth, and then they had a blue and purple one, but I think it's called Midnight. So Midnight is supposed to have shades from Book of Magic, and then Earth is supposed to have shades from the Wilderness palette, and then this then the berries one I showed you is supposed to have shades from this new Romance palette right here. So if you didn't get your hands on this palette, there's similar shades in that berries one I showed you before I showed you this one. But this one I really like the color story of, because it has this nice shifting shade right here. It's kind of similar to the one of the Pat McGrath Rose Decadence that I showed you, and then it just has a nice amount of neutrals with some, you know, colorful shades. So I feel like this one was more for people who wanted everyday-esque type looks, but still wanted to put some romantic tones in for eye looks when Valentine's Day came, because I feel like Beauty Bay always does a good job of giving you like neutrals to go along with all the fun colorful shades that they come up with. So that's another reason I wanted to pick this one. I tried to pick ones that gave day to night. I tried to pick some that was smoky, and then I tried to pick some for people like me who just like color and just gonna wear color regardless. So I hope I gave you all a good variety of palettes to choose from for Valentine's Day that I picked from my collection, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.